Nada.
Yeah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to more Rubric. This time is John Paul Egg and me. We want to say thanks to all the support that you guys been giving to us throughout all these weeks. Every single video that you guys seen has been great. We just gonna keep providing more wrestling knowledge, our take on whatever is taking place in the wrestling world, and we're excited to be talking about the third week of AEW Dynamite. So how's it going, John Paul?
Pretty good.
Ready to talk about AEW?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Probably the biggest television week they're gonna have.
yeah, it's probably like the best show. It's taking place in our state, Pennsylvania, to be more clear to the ones that are see as out of state. Philadelphia. Is going to be today at 8 o'clock. And before we start, I just wanna say thank you to Miguel, a big fan of our show. Thank you for sharing all those videos. We want to say thank you to Ryan. I hope you support the video, all his thoughts, of everything that took place during the draft on Raw and SmackDown. We're gonna talk about it pretty briefly here, but I just want to say thank you once again to everybody that's been supporting the videos. And we're gonna go right back to business because this couple of days John Paul was sick and I was just taking care of some personal commitments, and I was at a concert, so I want to shout out the Black Keys. It was a great show, badass. I enjoyed it a lot. John Paul is finally feeling better, so we're gonna go right to business. John Paul, give us your thoughts about WWE Draft.
When they first started the draft and they were showing like they kind of made it feel more like an NFL draft. They showed like the war rooms and the guys on the computers and stuff. And I thought, oh, okay, this is cool. They're taking it serious. And then 5 minutes into it, I was eating my words because it was all just a big joke. Like they had the Fox robot in the room, which I was like, "What? Like this is so stupid." Like
Yeah.
I'm laughing at it, but at the same time, I'm like, "This is so dumb." And there was some guy with like a screensaver on his computer that was just moving back and forth. He clearly wasn't like researching any of these, wrestlers for the
Yeah,
draft or anything. So it
exactly.
was all just a big joke. And then when they have all these different sports analysts on and they don't know anything about wrestling and it's just like a joke. Like WWE, they had a chance. This was their chance to start new and take things seriously, and they didn't. And it was all just a big joke, and barely there was any shakeup on the rosters.
Exactly. Yeah, to
And like
me, I wanna. Yeah, go
SmackDown
ahead.
got loaded, Raw got, who did Raw get that was really anybody of notice?
I
Randy Orton,
was, I
Buddy
would say
Murphy,
Randy Orton, Buddy Murphy, Kevin Owens, and
Kevin
Ryan
Owens.
even reported that Kevin Owens is pissed off that he got drafted to Raw.
Yeah,
So there was, there, like you said, the SmackDown was
and if I
clearly
saw
the
it
winner.
correctly, I'm pretty sure Eric Rowan got drafted to Raw, but I think Luke Harper is still on SmackDown.
Yes, they're still like, yeah, they
So, but
separated them.
so dead.
Oh yeah,
Dead.
I wanna agree with you. The draft was to me, it was a very lame attempt to make it look legit, to make it do sports like for example the NFL, like I want to say that the NBA, any other sport that goes by the draft rules. But once again, like you said, well, WWE, you will see the screensaver. It was just like nothing, and and they will
Yeah.
pretend that they were researching things.
Yeah, or like when they drafted Natalia, they get up and they start cheering and going crazy. Like, okay, come on. Like, unless you're a 5-year-old kid, Natalia hasn't done literally anything in the
And
past 5 years.
that's
She had
what
like
I
a
mean.
SmackDown title reign that lasted what, a month or two, and then done.
And then done. That's what I mean.
Like,
It's like that moment show you that it was a freaking joke. Nobody believed in it. It was just actors playing the role of like being like researchers and like looking like for accolades and stuff. Like to me,
yeah.
completely like wasted. An opportunity to present yourself as something legit, present yourself as something that is credible, and once again fail.
And honestly, if I would have booked the shows, I would have had it where you started the first match, your champion or versus your champion or, one of your big name guys to determine the number one pick. That I was fine. The choices that they put in the matches were a little shaky, but the match itself I would have done. But then after that, I would have had undercard guy versus undercard guy, and it's like the winner of this match will get drafted to whatever show. So if this was on SmackDown, you do it on SmackDown, and then the loser doesn't get drafted. So then
Yeah.
there's a little bit of story in there, and you
Yes.
give these guys like, oh, maybe have like a Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus the B team, and whichever team loses doesn't get drafted.
And
You
they
know,
yeah they
so,
become free agents or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Play
Do
with these things. The
yeah,
main
instead
issue.
of like just putting your top talents on, or you put an Alistair Black who got drafted, who we all know would get drafted. He goes out there and squashes Eric Young, who Eric Young's not wearing his sanity gear, so that gimmick's dead.
Yeah, the
One of
whole
the one of
sanity is
one of the
absolutely
one of
dead.
the greatest factions that was so short lived. But you don't
They
need to
didn't
see
have any fate in the main roster. They
you
didn't
don't
do
need to
anything with
see
them.
matches like that. Matches like just a squash match. If the whole show should have been focused on the draft, and it wasn't. It was
No,
just like a joke to them.
it was just it's a joke, and they put matches in between the jokes.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And like you said, for example, like we know that WWE is trying to make the WWE couples happy. So, for
Mhm.
example, when they drafted Andrade, Cien Almas, for the ones that don't like to call Cien Almas, and Selena Vega, we knew that like right away, Aleister
Yeah,
Black
they
was
all
gonna
had to
come
go to
with,
Raw.
and Charlotte also.
Yep. That's a four person Raw
Yeah,
deal.
right there.
Whatever brand
Exactly.
they
Like
go to, you
half
got to
of the
take
roster was
four.
already revealed with that move.
Yep.
Four main
The,
names.
the only thing that I liked out of these two shows was the Bailey heel turn. Other than that, to me, these shows were bullshit. I could have
Yeah,
done
but
without.
to me, the heel turn has been long overdue. She needed to do this at least 2 years ago.
And I think
Finally, she did it.
I think with what's going on with Charlotte and all them going to Raw and Asuka's on Raw, I think that'll be the program. It'll be three between them because we haven't seen that match 1,000 times. But hey, Asuka can go, Becky can go, Charlotte's good.
Kyrie, Kyrie, you
Yeah,
can
she'll
put in the
probably be
mix.
thrown into the mix, hopefully. But I think on SmackDown, because Sasha, they wanted to make her heel, but she really never became heel. I
Mhm.
think that'll be the program.
I feel that
Maybe not
like
immediately, but I think it'll be heel Bailey against the face Sasha Banks.
and
Or
that
for
and that
title.
and that's fine. I mean that franchise has to like split it
But
once
I want
again.
that now. I want the seeds to be planted now, and I want that to be at Mania.
It will be good.
That's
It
when the
will be
payoff
good.
needs to be. Not at fucking Survivor Series in like 3 weeks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? No.
no.
Build this motherfucker until Mania.
Yeah, build it like
Make it good.
build it in a way that like we are hoping for that match to take place like there's no tomorrow.
Sasha needs to win the fucking Royal Rumble.
That would be nice.
That would be
That would be a
badass.
good that would be a great option. And like you said to me, it was something really great to see Bailey finally turning onto everybody. New hair look, new theme music, new
Destroy
new
Yeah,
attitude.
destroyed the Bailey buddies.
Yeah, when she destroyed
Oh,
those, that was
I
really
was gonna
good.
say right when she came out, I saw her hair was different, and I was like, "Here it is." I was like, "Here it is," because I'm thinking like most people watching probably aren't paying attention to that. But I'm like,
Oh
her
yeah,
hair's not in the ponytail; it's like down, and I'm like, I think it's cut.
yeah,
And also a thing, the AEW colors on the jacket
yeah. I
are.
said
I'm like, that's
AEW, and
badass.
that's why we're gonna cover AEW because even Bailey
Nice
wants to go to
transition into
AEW.
AEW. I hope you
It
guys
was
all pick that up there.
it was a
That's a,
shot right there. You heard it the first time on Robrick. So that's what I'm saying. It was nice. The drop to me, it was very lame. Like you said, really not big changes in the roster. They had the opportunity to actually shake the whole rosters up. They didn't
mhm.
do it. At the end, the same people ended up in the same shows. And for example, right now, if you know, Backstage had its debut yesterday night, and they dropped it Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross right
Oh,
straight
they
to
traded
SmackDown.
them.
They
To
traded.
Oh yeah, to go into that bullshit. So it says they traded them, but it never said who
What did
snagged them.
Monday Night Raw got? Yeah,
Yeah, or
they
who.
needed.
Yeah, it didn't say what they got, and I'm like, well, what they get in return? What they get in return? It's like, oh, there's proposed future draft picks. I'm
Yeah,
like, what does that even mean? This is all fake. Yeah, or not fake. I don't want to say fake. Sorry, it's all. It's all. They all write it. It's
yeah.
not real. It's not
But
like.
like,
It's
but
not like
that
they're
tells
actually
you.
waiting for a draft pick. Like, send. I don't know. Send a jobber or two over. Just make it legit.
Yeah, like for example, if you got
It's so dumb.
is easy. For example, see, they got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross on SmackDown, right? Why don't you
Uh,
put Fire and Desire on Raw? A tag team for a tag team, correct?
exactly.
You know, that's what I mean.
That's
They
yeah.
write in a way that they don't make sense with the things that they're writing. They're writing things that don't make sense, and the writers don't even make sense themselves.
The only thing when I saw that movie scared me. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna break this fucking team up, and then Alexa Bliss is gonna win the title.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Well, at least
no.
they're still keeping that really quick. Now that we mentioned everything about the draft, really quick, your thoughts about Eric Bishop being fired and Bruce Pritchard is taking over his place.
You replaced a big name when they hired him for the shock value. Eric Bischoff on SmackDown, I better watch. Any fan with a brain goes, this show is the same show I've seen the past how many years since,
Oh,
since,
since like
yeah,
2016 when it
yeah,
was good, when they did
yeah,
the
yeah,
first draft,
yeah.
and
I
it
was
was
going to say,
actually
since
something
like,
that
who
it
was that
benefited
writer?
everybody.
Who was that writer who they fired? Or he
Um,
went to NXT or something? He moved and then they got some new.
Ryan Worth. Ryan
Yeah,
Worth. Ryan Worth is the guy. It was the main writer for SmackDown during that time,
yeah.
but then
So
he was
ever
shifted to
since
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, ever since he left, the show's been shit. They bring in Eric Bischoff, the show is still shit. So anybody knows that he was just the name to bring people, viewers in, and it didn't work. So he probably saw the product was bullshit. I don't know what his relationship is with Cody Rhodes and all them, but I wouldn't even be surprised if they have good relations that he turns up in AEW.
Oh
Because
yeah, for
he
example,
probably
like
sees AEW's legit, and he
the
sees
one
that SmackDown isn't.
the one thing that my source told me is that he did not do anything.
Yeah, he
Till
did.
this day, they didn't know what he did. He was very hard to work with, and he wasn't there, working. When he was there, like they didn't see him doing anything. He
Yeah, and
didn't know
then
anybody in the locker room. He really didn't get behind anybody in the locker room. So that's why they had to make this decision right away because, like you said, for example, this last episode of SmackDown drew one really low rating and is only the second week. So they have to go back to do something that pumped the crowd up because Fox is going to be right behind Vince McMahon's ears. And he's like, what's going on? Why aren't you getting ratings? So
I
I
mean,
think that's a
I don't know how
desperate
Fox
effort.
is. I don't know how Fox is going to say that when they put their sports analysts on there and they don't know anything and they look so stupid and it's so cringe. I mean, maybe
But
that's how Fox Sports actually is. Maybe they are stupid and cringe and they don't know what they're talking about.
but to me,
But it's such bullshit.
it's just like it's a stupid effort, like you said. You should be at least if you're like an executive from Fox. It's
Hmm.
like, do you know anything about wrestling? At
Yeah,
least can you learn a little bit for tomorrow? You're gonna have you're gonna be on Monday Night Raw. Or I'm sorry, you're gonna be on SmackDown Live. You're gonna
yeah.
be
This is
doing a little segment.
I know you.
Learn few things.
I know you said you haven't seen AEW Dark, and we'll get into it more when we talk about it. But Tony Schiavone hosts it, and he taught, and they have like a 3D, like he's standing clearly standing in front of like a blue screen or a green screen, and behind him they have like a big AEW logo. It looks like it's on a big screen, and it says how like matchups coming. There's a poster for Full Gear, and it looks like he's in like the war room or whatever they want to call it, like like on sports. It looks
Mm,
like it's almost on an ESPN show.
yeah.
But
See, like they make it that sport
but
like
he's but he's
scenery.
legit
Yeah.
because he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't sound like an idiot. He doesn't sound like he's, oh yeah, my favorite wrestler is Hulk Hogan. My favorite is Bruno Sammartino. Like, who are you trying to talk to? Like, these people on Fox are they're so stupid.
So yeah, to
But
me,
on
like they don't
AEW
make
Dark,
sense themselves.
they do it quick, simple. Tony's not making corny jokes. He's not cringe. Boom, boom, boom. He says what needs to be said, and then they move on.
It's very
And
factual too.
yeah, and it has this actual sports center type feel
And
versus what
statistics,
SmackDown.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So once again, in my thoughts about Eric Bischoff being fired, I think that maybe he didn't like what the
Oh,
direction that the product is
I'm gonna
going.
say he told them he was done, and they were like, "Oh shit!" So they replaced him with the yes man and Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, and for example, to me, I just feel that maybe he wasn't invested enough.
No.
Maybe he like, and Bishop said many times, I don't want to be involved with this anymore. My
Yeah.
time has passed.
And like I
So
said, I
if
don't know
the
what his
time is done,
relationship is with any of these guys, but back on TNT, Tony Schiavone, maybe they told him, Eric, man, if it's bullshit, come down here, you know.
well,
Obviously
I
not
know.
obviously not to write the show or do anything in that aspect, but hey, come down, maybe, I don't know.
Check it out. Check it out and let
Yeah.
us know how you feel about it. For
Yeah.
example, to me, I want to tell you, I feel he's gonna be in Starcast 4 right here. You heard it on Road Break because we're back in business, baby. So he's gonna be one of the big names in Starcast 4. Eric
Oh,
Bishop
yeah, I could see it.
and Jim Crooked, the founder of right of the very first wrestling promotions. Jim Crooked from Promotions. They're gonna be on Starcast 4. So to me, we'll see what Bruce Pritchard can do. But once again, to me, it was a lost effort because, like you said, I feel that Eric Bishop was more used for the name value and the
Hmm.
shock value that his name produces. Because we know he's a man of controversy, so I feel that like maybe he wasn't really invested with the product, or he couldn't merge into what the direction of the product is going now, and they had to go with a man that like Vince McMahon really knows and trusts on Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna switch gears to All Elite Wrestling. What
Some
are your
good
thoughts
wrestling.
about the episode from last week?
Last week's episode I thought was good. I almost thought it was like it was a step in the right direction, which is up. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of people were nervous about. You have the debut episode, everybody's tuning in. Even if were skeptical, even if you hate AEW, especially if you love AEW, you're tuning in, you want to see what they do. It was good. Then the biggest step is the next week. And I think
Follow
they
up.
got even better.
Yeah, I want to say, for example, to me, although the ratings were a little lower
But
because
that's to be expected because,
because
like I said,
it's
everybody
expected.
on that first week will tune in. Everybody. And
Yes.
after that, you get people who maybe they still like the product and they still want to continue watching, but they might be busy. There might be another show on. They just might be watching NXT.
Yeah.
But it's because it's the first episode. Everyone's going to want to see it.
Yes. Yes. And to me, the best part of that show was Chris Jericho announcing his inner circle.
Oh, yeah.
To me,
So you're talking
first of
the
all,
promo where
yes, the
yeah.
whole promo he came out. He shout out Eddie Guerrero because last week was his birthday.
Uh,
Viva la raza. That was beautiful. He got all the Hispanic crowd and anybody that loves Eddie Guerrero. After all, great.
yeah, who
And
doesn't love Eddie?
announces, his inner circle, Santana, Ortiz, Sammy Guevara, and
Jake
Hager.
Hager.
Or for Jim Rose, Jack. Or so it took him like 2 weeks to figure it out that it was Jake and not Jack. But we're not gonna go in detail against JR because JR, he's in, he's an older person, but I will still remember him for the good old days. So to me, he's still an icon, and I will not mess with that. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that the whole promo thing, how Jericho manages the crowd, is something out of this world.
Oh yeah.
Only a pure entertainer like him will know how to do that. You know how like we the people shut up.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
was a bad creative decision.
Yeah. That was
That was great.
beautiful.
That was beautiful. Oh, and we're next and we're the future. That was
Yeah.
another shot at NXT. So Jericho knows what he's doing. To me, the decision of the putting the title on him, it was absolutely great because the guy knows how to sell,
Oh yeah.
how to create, excitement, how to make you tune in, how to make you interested in what you're gonna see next from him. Supposedly the Painmaker is coming today.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard
It's
that.
gonna be his debut today in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For the
Oh,
ones that
that's
don't
what I
know
mean.
where the show's taking.
That crowd will be hot tonight.
Exactly, like it's gonna be one of the toughest crowds, so it's gonna be a great night for AEW. Tell me a little bit about the match because we were talking about this in preparation. Havoc against Darby.
I thought the match, honestly, for a number one contender match, I think it should have been longer. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the show, they don't stretch it out. They're not trying to
Yes.
have a huge long show that
Mm-hmm.
drags on. They're trying to boom quick matches. It's just television, but it's a number one contender match. I thought it went a little quick, and I thought that Havoc should have won because, like I was telling you, he's an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing hardcore stuff his whole career. When is he gonna get
A
another
shot.
title shot?
A shot. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Give him the title shot, and then obviously who the winner of this match isn't going to be Jericho. So
Oh
just give him
yeah.
the shot, and then whatever. Not saying the guy just deserves a rub because he's old, but I don't. That's how I would have booked it. But then after watching AEW Dark, the first match on there was Darby Allin versus Shima,
Mm-hmm.
and the crowd is actually hot for Darby Allin. They
Yeah.
like him.
They
I
like
didn't.
his gimmick. I think the
Yeah,
character, the skater,
they were
the
saying like
skateboard, and all of
like
that.
people were saying like a young Jeff Hardy, kind of like a Jeff Hardy
You
vibe.
have he has like features. He have a yeah. I can see why because he had Kama comes out. He's young. He plays with the crowd. Women
Yeah,
go crazy for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like Shima was hitting moves and the crowd was either silent or giving him like heel reactions. And then Darby Allin was clearly the face to the crowd, and I was like, oh shit. So they're behind him. So
They really
yeah,
like.
so that's why I think they kind of went with him. And also Havoc might be a heel.
Mm-hmm.
So they might be not. They don't want to do heel versus heel, even though it's just a match. They still might like the baby face versus heel because no one's gonna cheer Jimmy Havoc versus Jericho.
Yeah,
But but
and
people
exactly.
might cheer Darby Allin
Oh yeah,
against
like to
Jericho.
me, they're gonna cheer for Darby Allin because he's a good wrestler. Although, for example, like there was a really important fact that they say throughout the show is like when he does his dive from the third
Mhm.
rope, like
Oh, the coffin
the
drop.
mummy, the coffin drop. He said that like he always wins when he
Uh
hits
huh.
that move.
Yeah, he
So
hit it on Shima to
so
win.
we'll see if he actually hits that move on Jericho tonight,
I don't think he
or
will.
how he counters that, or let's say if he's not even able to hit, to go for the move. So we'll see what they do because Jericho's type of match right now they're going a little like they have more pace, they have
Mhm.
more story to it. Jericho moves around, he uses some whatever's in the ring. For that reason, I want to see what they can do, what they can produce. But to me, like you said to me, I feel that he Havoc should have won. That was my first um, reaction to that. Between the two, I was like, Havoc should have won because he's a lot older. He's never gonna get a shot before this.
Yeah, because I mean, they gave Hangman the first title shot. He's a young guy. I think he's only 25. They
Yeah.
gave Hangman a title shot. He loses. Then he's kind of fallen down the card. But like he'll have time to work his way back up. The
Hmm.
same thing is going to happen now with Darby Allin. He's young, he's going to lose, and he's going to fall down the card, going to have to work his way back up to the title. But like Jimmy Havoc, like he loses. I don't see him, the crowd getting behind him and see him working his way back up to another title shot.
Like, what
That's
do
my
you
whole
do with
thing.
him? Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you do? What do you do with him? So that to me is
Obviously they're
like,
going to create a mid-card title at some point. They're going to add more to the roster, create, a mid-card title, and they'll go from there.
and yeah, I
It's
feel
hard
that.
to judge them now. I think because I was definitely skeptical of them at first. Oh, what are they going to do with this? What are they going to do with that? But so far they haven't disappointed.
Oh no, and then, like for example, like when you the decision of making this show, the AEW Dark, it
Mhm.
gives like enough exposure for the rest of the roster that we
Oh
haven't seen.
yeah, I was going to say because after watching last week's episode, it's like, man, I gotta wait till Wednesday. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like with WWE, there's so much stuff to consume, and then you have like the good that's NXT,
hmm,
but it's still so much wrestling to consume. But with AEW, it's like, man, that's it.
yeah,
And then they released AEW Dark, which both episodes are around an hour. The
yes.
first one is an hour, the second one's an hour and 14 minutes.
And for the
And
ones who don't know, they're free on YouTube
yeah,
for
it's on
anybody to
YouTube.
watch, so you can
And
always
I'm
watch
telling you,
AEW.
it's usually like 3 to 4 matches. And then there's maybe like an interview. And like I said, Tony Schiavone's going over stuff. He'll show highlights from that previous week's episode of Dynamite. But it's perfect because it's just an extra hour when you need that fix. Like, oh, I want to watch AEW, more wrestling, but it's not, Wednesday. What the heck?
It's
You
not
can watch
exhausting.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not exhausting. It's not like a reason for you to just be like, oh my gosh, there's
And
so much
also
product.
on commentary for tonight, because they film it and then they won't release what they filmed tonight until like the middle of next week. They
Mhm.
release it almost a week later.
Yeah.
Tonight they have Taz on commentary.
Oh, okay. So
I
he's
believe I read that Taz is going to be on commentary tonight for Dark, not for
for
the
dark.
actual show.
For
Yeah.
dark. Yeah. Well, I mean, Taz is really good. We
Hmm.
always mention this with you. We mentioned this with Ryan. He is
Taz,
a great announcer. He's like
Taz,
to me,
Michael Cole.
Michael Cole, SmackDown. The best
Yeah.
years of SmackDown, it was when Taz and Michael Cole were together. So I feel that again, this show provides that extra like satisfaction. That is, that extra
Yeah, and there
need.
are some. I won't go into too much detail, but I mean, there's some good matches on these. The first episode, like I said, the
Yeah,
first
go ahead.
match, the first
Yeah, go
match
ahead.
was Darby Allin and Shima. Darby Allin won that, and that was a pretty good match. Then you have the Hybrid 2, which is Jack Evans and Angelico, and the Lucha Bros versus Private Party and the Best Friends. That was
Yeah,
a pretty good match. I
that
mean,
was
that
a
was a
pretty
really
great
good match,
match.
actually.
I did see that match, and it was absolutely fantastic.
And
It
then
was
you had
great.
Britt Baker and Allie versus B. Priestley and Penelope Ford. I know you're going to hate when I say this, but Penelope Ford is like Alexa Bliss who can actually wrestle.
Oh, okay. Well, at least
So, I mean, it
so
was
we
a good.
have somebody that actually can wrestle and be as
Yeah, I
cute,
mean,
as
don't
hot
get me
as
don't get me
Alexa
wrong.
Bliss.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. She's not a Britt Baker or a B. Priestley, but she actually could do some moves.
But at least
Um,
she doesn't slap people around, right?
and I think she slapped. I think she slapped someone in the match.
But at least at one
But yeah,
time.
that's not her
Like,
only move.
that's not your only
There was a
move.
spot, I think, I forget if it was Allie or who it was, but somebody I think was going for a clothesline, and she bent backwards and was on her like feet, but she was bent over and she was on her hands. And then when they turned around, she was in that bent over position. She like jumped up and did a cutter. It
See,
was a
like
really cool spot.
for example, like see those things like what you will as a fan will get you behind the woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a cool spot. Like she like bent over backwards and dodged a clothesline and then hit a cutter. And then it was a good spot. And then the last match was SCU and Jurassic Express, which that was a good match too.
well, I
That
mean,
was a 6-man tag.
Luchasaurus like the Jungle Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christopher
Luchasaurus does
Daniels, Kazarian.
his standing what is that, a standing moonsault or
Yes,
that
yes.
when he did that, it looked like the top of his head was maybe like a centimeter off the ground. I
Wow.
don't know how he didn't like knock himself out.
These guys, and I'm gonna tell you what I read from Hager, from Jake Hager. For the ones that don't know, WWE Jack Swagger. He said, quote, he said, we're gonna beat WWE because we have a lighter schedule. We don't have to go 300 days on the road. We actually have more time to spend with our families. And what's that result into? Results into us being more eager to get have great matches, eager to have a better show to put on, eager to have a better relationship backstage. So we are really excited for what's to come.
Oh
Our
yeah.
schedules like allow us to actually have a live outside, the AEW thing or the wrestling world. And that's something that WWE will never allow their wrestlers. And that's the main reason why we are going to win.
I
So
agree with that.
I mean, it's true. It's true because like the WWE schedule has been for years. 4 years. So many wrestlers have said that the schedule is absolutely killing. So Dragon is, pretty much it kills relationships, marriages, anything. So for Hager, or to say that, it seems to me that like the camaraderie in the locker room is really good.
Oh yeah, I think
So
all those guys, they have the right, they have the right like mentality. They're all in there. And of course, they were shitting on NXT, shitting on WWE a little bit, but they know it's not a war because they're just worried about doing their own thing.
yeah,
WWE is the one who's worried about everything. They're just
and
going out there and they're booking their show the same way, whether they were the only wrestling company in the United States or whether there was 30 wrestling companies in the United States.
Exactly. So to me,
They're not booking it to counter WWE.
oh yeah, like I to me, like they need to really stay the way they are, stay
Hmm.
true to themselves, book the shows for themselves, compete within themselves. There's no reason to look elsewhere. WWE will do their thing. We're not picking sides here. Also, Robert, we're just analyzing, dissecting everything that's taking place in both companies, both brands. We can call it a war, but to me, it's just AEW is providing an alternative
Yeah,
that is giving us something else to look forward to. For example, the AEW Dark, like John Paul is saying, there was a match this week, Kenny Omega against Joey Janela. He was
yeah,
absolutely great.
yeah. I
And
mean,
for
if
example, it keeps,
I'll just run through that
yeah,
was on the second episode. So
yeah,
on that you had the librarian Peter Avalon versus Kip Saban versus Sonny Kiss. That was an all right, you know, triple threat
match,
match.
yeah.
There was a lot of like spots where it looks like the timing was off. And that's the one thing I noticed in a couple of these matches on Dark is that it seems like instead of calling the match like in the ring, it seems that they almost have a lot of spots where it's like, okay, at some point, we're going to do this certain big spot, so get ready for it. And you have a lot of guys like in Sasha Banks in Hell in the Cell, where she just stood there and held the chair, and it's like, what are you doing? Drop the chair. And then Becky Lynch takes 5 seconds to kick the chair. You have a lot of stuff like that where these people are just
Like the timing
they're
is off.
waiting. Yeah, they're waiting for a spot, and it's obvious that you're waiting to just get hit. And it's like, so you saw that in a lot of these matches, especially in this triple threat. But that's just nitpicking. It was,
It doesn't
it was a
feel.
free match on YouTube. I enjoyed watching it. There was some decent, some good moves, decent spots in there. And then you had SCU and Shima versus the Dark Order and Hybrid 2. That was a pretty good match. There's a lot of tag team matches on here, which I like because they're showing off these teams that some of them are in the tournament, some of them aren't. So, and like they said, they were really going to focus on the tag team division.
Which they really are doing.
Yeah,
They're
and then
keeping themselves. They're keeping true to them to their promise.
they had a small backstage segment, undesirable to undeniable, Cody Rhodes with Aubrey Edwards, where he was kind of talking to her about what made her become a referee and how she was with WWF and they brought or WWE and they brought her in and they used her for like the Mae Young and stuff like that. And then after that, they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we don't really need you. See ya."
And
And
see,
then,
she became the first woman that actually, was the referee in the World Championship match because she was the one that
yeah,
referee for Jericho and Handman Adam Page.
and then they had the lights out Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela match, and that was there was actually the story behind that was Kenny was talking about John Moxley and how he got beat up, so he wanted to be more hardcore and try to wrestle his style because he knew
And for
that's
example,
what Moxley was going to do, and that was all shown in a backstage segment with Tony, Kenny, and the Young Bucks. So that's what I mean. This is what WWE needs to do to have it like a more realistic feel.
exactly. And for example, to me, it's like you're giving like continuity.
Yep.
That's right there is how, like, for example, like everything makes sense. There's no logic gaps. There's no holes. There can be, like, for example, like you, for example, right now, I could have been to you. So why is Kenny fighting Janela?
Mm-hmm.
But
And we have
now
an
you just
answer.
said the
Yep.
reason why. Because Kenny knows that Moxley, he loves hardcore. He is the Mick Foley of our time. So the closest thing as preparation for the match. Can you believe this? See, preparation for the match with Moxley is Joey Janela. So he needs to adapt to that kind of style and be able to be successful. And that helps to create a really great story. So you're saying that, for example, you see how serious Kenny Omega is taking this match with Moxley.
Yeah,
That
that's
he
what I mean.
goes
And
to
it
the
was all
extent to fight another hardcore dude.
yeah. So if you love AEW, I mean, it's free. It's on YouTube. Watch Dark. It's the
I
best
think it's
hour of your.
Tuesdays
It'll
at
be the best hour of your day watching it.
Tuesdays at 8 o'clock.
Is that when it Premieres?
I think we're in debuts. I think we're in debuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
yeah, yeah. I had the video up on YouTube. It said premiere 22 hours ago. So yeah, that'll be around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so and
Yeah.
we're not okay.
Yep.
Once again, we're not marquees. We're not here. We're not trying to buy, pledge for anything, lobby for anything. I'm just saying, like,
Oh yeah, no, I'm WWE.
keep,
Like,
when it comes to logic and when it comes to your intelligence not being insulted, AEW is actually treating you as a fan, but like they cherish you. They
mhm.
make you feel like important, and actually they feel like we listen to the fans. Whereas WWE most of the time just bring you disappointment just because they don't care. To the
Mhm.
point that, like, very quick, very very quick, Seth Rollins move from Team Hogan because he's fighting the Fiend at Crown Jewel.
Oh, is he? Is that
Yes. So and we'll
first of
do
all?
this more in
First of
detail,
all,
a little later. But I just
yeah.
want quick thoughts about that because
Um,
they don't
I,
know
I I
what.
think that's the right move because one, I can't stand Seth Rollins. I don't want to see him kiss the fiends. I mean, kiss Hogan's ass the whole time. Two, did you see what he tweeted about Mick Foley and the Hell in the Cell thing?
No,
Where
actually,
he said how
tell the Robrick family. Tell the Robrick
when the
family.
ref stopped the match, he goes on Twitter and he says, "Well, don't you think Mick Foley and the Undertaker would have liked it if the ref stopped their match? It probably would have added a few more years to Mick's legendary career." I'm
And
like,
that
"Are
right
you
there.
kidding me?" Like, so he's saying that he's like, "Oh, don't you think the Undertaker and Mankind would have wanted the ref to stop the match?" No.
No, no.
Like,
At
dude,
the,
you're an idiot. And when he said that, I'm like, he's done. He is worse, in my opinion, he's worse than John Cena and Roman Reigns.
combined,
Combined.
because
I
he's
would
like
even agree with that.
corporate guy through and
Because
through, through and through, corporate
because at
guy.
least with those two, excuse me, like when they got pushed, at least they weren't like their pushes. Like every time they came out or you heard their music or they won, you were like, this is so dumb. I hate this." But at least sometimes when they spoke, at least John Cena, you got behind it. And you were like, this guy's legit.
And it's because Cena was good on the mic.
Yeah,
And
Seth
Cena, like,
Rollins is
see, for example, Cena,
so
he
awful.
embraced the hate.
Yeah.
He didn't. He knew he was hated, and he was like, I don't care. And actually, he played with the crowd. Is like, for example, like I was just watched SmackDown from Friday, and when Stephanie came out, he goes, "Oh, you're not gonna boo me."
Yeah, that's what I mean. It
That's
was
when you embrace the hate. You know
yeah.
that you or Kurt Angle when he'll you suck. And he
Yeah, he
actually will
loved it.
go along. He'll go along.
Yeah,
You
so
and Rollins is a crying baby.
hmm
He
yeah,
wants to be loved by
Roman
you.
was over he was over pushed and we hated him, but at least Roman never came out and was crying or doing any like the Seth Rollins bullshit.
Yes, exactly. So that was very quick, and now we're just gonna go with whatever is going to be advertised for tonight. Episode of Dynamite once again, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm
Kenny
excited.
Omega and Hangman Adam Page against John Moxley and Pact. Tag team match. That's a match that is even a caliber of a pay-per-view.
I would say I
What
mean
do you think?
I would agree with you. I'm just thinking how they book this, who wins. I would almost got to say that the that's tough because if I'm looking ahead to Full Gear, let's just even though it's early, who do you say wins at Full Gear? Because whoever wins at Full Gear is losing here tonight.
To me,
That's
I
how I
feel
see
that,
it.
like, they will
So
have
whoever
to give
wins
it.
tonight is losing at Full Gear technically, uh,
Yes,
unless
there's
unless
more. There's 2 more weeks though.
unless Pac would beat Hangman again, and then that continues their feud because maybe they'll feud. I don't know because you would almost think that if Pac doesn't get a title opportunity after Cody, you would almost think the winner of Kenny and Moxley would go against Pac to be the number one contender.
To me, like what they really want to do is like have Pact as the next number one contender. But I feel that like they will have to give the win to Kenny.
So do you
Just
think Kenny?
I mean at full gear, at full gear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I
Kenny
think too.
will have to get the
Kenny
win
wins at
just
full
because he
gear.
lost in two consecutive pay-per-views. He just lost on two, so he needs one win. But
But
first, it can be like a fuck finish. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody can come out, distracts
I mean, it's
Moxley.
hard. It's hard to say. I could see. I mean, the match is already booked, so I could see Kenny taking a pin here or submitting. Or
I really
I
don't
feel
see
like,
that just because that would be three in a row.
yeah, but how much can you bury Hangman?
Oh well, that's true though. I
You know
mean,
what I mean? He
oh,
keeps
when it comes to
feuding.
the tag team match, maybe
It's
for
tough.
example, you can always play with the fact that like Pac and Moxley don't really get along,
Yeah,
and they're gonna like go. One of them is gonna fuck the other one. It's gonna it's
if
gonna end up
anything,
like messing with the other one,
yeah,
and then they're gonna have
I could see Pac walking out.
yeah, but Pac
You know
walking
what I
out
mean?
because like you guys are not being featuring me. I
Right.
beat I beat Kenny, I beat Hangman. I should be the number one contender, and boom, out. Or
I
Moxley could go.
I think that'll be a good match though.
Or Max and Moxley could go too because he, for example, like he just vacated the United States championship from New Japan
Yeah, yeah,
because
I
there was
saw
a
that.
typhoon over the plate in Japan, so he couldn't make it. So he had to vacate the title. So who knows? But all I know is going to be a great match. Four of your best people are going to be in it. So may I will say my prediction on that. Actually, I'm going to surprise everybody, and I will say Moxley gets the pin.
Who does he pin? You
No,
mean
he
Kenny?
gets the pin.
Oh, he
Oh no,
gets
no, I'm
pinned.
saying like he's going to be pinned
Oh, Moxley gets
by
pinned.
Kenny.
Oh, okay.
By Kenny.
So you think is gonna get? He's gonna win here and then win at Full Gear?
Man, there's 2 more weeks of build up.
I
Even
think that's
3.
bullshit.
It's even
But
3.
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see, or maybe maybe another tag team will come back. For example, like really quick, tell me about Private Party getting a win from the Young Bucks. That was great.
I
The
mean,
Young
we
Bucks
all
know how
saw
to
it
do
coming
business.
because we all, and
We
that's the one thing
predicted
where
this. Robert said that.
everybody said, "Oh, the young Bucks, the elite, they can't win because if they win, then it looks like they're just giving themselves the wins and the titles." So I understand giving, Private Party the win here, so people aren't down their throats yelling at them saying, "Oh, you're just booking yourself to win." But at some point, the Young Bucks are going to have to win. But I feel like this tournament is set up just to build all the young guys and build all these teams that we don't know. So then once all these teams are built up and they all have momentum, then I think, the teams like the Lucha Bros, the Young Bucks, all these proven teams are really going to get into the mix.
Exactly. I
So
feel
I
that like
think
the
that,
Young
yeah,
Bucks,
I feel
Lucha
like it
Bros
was
are
the
already
right
consolidated.
choice. Yeah.
They're already big names. They
Hmm.
made it already, so they don't need this kind of exposure. They don't need big wins anymore.
Yeah.
And that takes me to a tag team that you absolutely love, Jurassic Express, against the tag team you just mentioned 2 seconds ago,
Hey, I'm going
Lucha
to tell you,
Bros. First
I
round of the
might,
tag team tournament.
I know we talk about T-shirts and AEW and stuff. I might get a Lucha Bros shirt. I need to, dude. After watching their matches and stuff, more of their matches, they're badass, dude.
Pentagon Jr.
I,
is a freaking great wrestler.
I might want them to win more than the Jurassic Express. To be
Pentagon
honest,
Jr. is a great wrestler.
I would love.
He's a one-time Impact World Heavyweight Champion, and I mean Ray Phoenix is great.
Do they have the AAA belts, or who has them?
The AAA I think that is the Young Bucks.
Oh, okay.
There's the Young Bucks. So
Yes, because I
I
would
feel that
like.
like today we're gonna have another finish that is gonna surprise everybody. It's gonna be the Jurassic Express going over
That's
the
what I
Lucha.
think too.
To
and
me,
and,
I
and
see
that's
another
a
upset.
shame because I don't like to see both these two really good teams lose in the first round. But I mean, as long as it's a good match, I can't really complain.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would like to see, it stinks when there's two teams you really like going against each other. But I agree with you. I think the Jurassic Express is going to win.
I mean, to me, like Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Matthew Perry's kid, to me, they need a big win. And just because, like, for example, they can go against Private Party, create those, like, new faces.
Hmm.
Use this kind of tournaments to create your future, to build up within the future. They need the titles. They need these big wins. They need to be seen by the
Yeah.
whole
I
entire
mean,
world.
if you're asking me who's going to win the whole tournament, though, I don't think any of these, like, I don't think the Private Party or Jurassic Express is winning it. I think I almost say you go all in with the Dark Order.
I mean, for example, that's your pick. I mean, to me,
To
I'm
me,
just
the
saying
the,
like
the
what I would
final,
wish to see.
yeah.
But
The,
I mean, to me, I think that like the Lucha Bros, they're gonna go over today. They're gonna win.
you think the Lucha Bros win?
Yeah, to me, I'm saying like it will be the right thing
Uh
to
huh.
put the Jurassic Express over.
Yeah, but
Maybe
to
they
me,
will
I
win,
would the
but to me, the
Jurassic
Lucha Bros are gonna.
Express. They remind me of a team like X Pac and Kane.
What, the Lucha Bros?
Not the Lucha Bros,
Oh
the
no, that
Jurassic
yeah, the
Express.
Jurassic Express. Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
got the big monster and like not that Jungle Boy acts like X Pac, but it's like he's skinny, but he's also like pretty strong. He's quick. He's agile, and they're a team where like they're almost like an underdog babyface team. I mean
Hmm.
that is what they are.
Yeah,
And then like so if they lose here, they'll still be okay because the fans will be so upset. They'll still cheer the Lucha Bros
and
because
they're
the Lucha
still
Bros
there.
badass.
Yes,
But they'll
yes.
be so upset that next time like that they come out, they'll be so behind them because they want to see them win.
Hmm.
So it really wouldn't matter. But then, with that being said, then you know I don't know if the private if you make because if Private Party beats the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros, whew,
And we'll see. We'll see.
that'd
I
be
mean,
crazy. I
that
mean
that's the
they
beauty
have
of
a baby
wrestling.
set.
That's the beauty of wrestling, Mister John Paul Leek. Is we don't know what's going to happen. Either finish is going to be great because if the Jurassic Express goes over, you have a great tag team in the making of being, this big thing that they could actually be.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
like you said, Kane and X Pac, Kane through the years, he was always paired up with smaller guys, and that's when his best work will come up. For
Hmm.
example, not only X Pac, it
Oh
was
yeah, Daniel
also
Bryan.
Daniel
2.0.
Bryan, it was Rob Van Dam.
I would
They
say
got
I
like
mean Rob Van Dam was small, but I wouldn't say he's like small though. He's still pretty.
but for example, he was more like a jungle boy because
Yeah.
he knew more moves. He was a aerial, he did a lot of aerial moves and all of that. So he was to me very good analogy right there,
Yeah.
comparable. All of them. So
So
I would
and
say,
then there's another tag team match tonight there. Isn't there?
yeah,
Isn't there three?
yeah. There's the SCU versus the Best Friends. That's another tag team first round match.
I'm going with best friends.
I'm going with the Best Friends too
The
because
only
we
oh go
haven't
ahead.
seen Cassidy. We have not seen Colin Cassidy. We've seen it last episode, but he didn't do anything.
Oh, do you mean Orange Cassidy?
Yes,
Okay.
he is gonna play a factor
Yeah, he
here.
well he was on that the on Dark, I think. I
He
think I
did.
yeah, he came out. Yeah, no, he was. He came out and he climbed up to the top turnbuckle. Everybody was on the outside and they're like, "What's he going to do?" He puts his hands in his pockets and he just jumps off on everybody.
That's what I
But
mean.
like it was like to me when he first came out, I was like, "What who the hell is this guy?" blah blah blah. I was like, "This is so dumb." Then as he keeps coming out, like for me anyway, he's getting over.
Hmm.
I'm like, he's kind of like it's kind of funny now. Like it's because it's such a change of pace. Everybody's so serious and this and that, and then this guy comes out, jean jacket, hands in his
He
pocket.
doesn't even have the look of a wrestler, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, he's good. I mean, his gimmick is so
yeah,
different and unique that you want to see what he does.
yeah. And like we said, I think he's training lucha libre.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
he knows a lot of aerial moves. He's like his lucha. His style of wrestling is lucha libre style.
but I think just because there's such a history between the two teams, at least on AEW, the Dark Order and the Best Friends, I think you got to continue that. So I think that's why I picked the Best Friends to win.
To me, best
And I
friends
think they're
just
going to go against
because
the Dark Order
SCU
for one of
SCU is like
this.
a tag team that needs to. His main job is to put other tag teams over.
Oh yeah,
Because both Kazarian, Daniels, they're all like already old wrestlers, so that should be the job. Start providing for whoever's coming after them.
yeah. Because you at some point you can break them off. Someone like Scorpio Sky he's so good. He could
He
be
could
a
be,
single star.
like you said, like you can go for like a mid card title that they could
Hmm.
have, and that will be fine with him. They could have Kazarian and Daniels winning the titles later on in the year, next year.
Yeah, whatever
They
they
will have
decide.
championship matches throughout the whole year. So
Hmm.
to me, if they lose, it wouldn't be a big shock. Actually, if they win, that will be going over a team that could potentially be the winner.
Yeah.
It will be, future. Like, to me, this kind of tournament should be featured for whoever's coming after you. Use your name value to help others, and that's
Yeah,
what
that's
they
what I'm
did.
saying. Like, this is the first, like, this tournament is, to me, is to just build all these young teams up, like I said before. That's what the whole point of this tournament's for. After that, we can really get into the storylines between all the different teams and this and that. But, like, at least the tournament is building them up so we actually care about them.
Yeah, it's true. I can tell you like this needs to be a showcase for new people, especially for example because that's what we've been asking WWE for years. Showcase, use your roster. So AEW has to use their roster because they've signed all these tag teams. And to me, Private Party, The Dark Order, Best Friends, Jurassic Express, these new faces need to be featured. At least,
Hmm.
and even when they lose, they need to lose in a way that like they still look strong.
Yeah, like, that's what the Young Bucks, they got, I think he got rolled up.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a
Yeah,
it was
they kicked out of Gin and Juice, which is
yes,
the Private Party's
the
finisher,
finisher. Yeah, the finisher. Yes.
and they kept dodging the Meltzer driver from the Young Bucks. So
Yes.
that's what I mean. Everybody looks. I mean, I
Everybody
don't
looks
know
like
about. I don't know if Gin and Juice is their like actual finisher. I'm pretty sure it is, and I don't think he could get the cover right away. I think there was something going on, but I mean,
JR will say he didn't hook the leg right.
yeah. Besides that, everybody looks strong.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Making sure that everybody looks strong and then still the win matters for everybody.
Yeah,
So now let's switch gears, Mr. Jumpel. We have another championship match. So this is a show that is loaded with expectations.
that's what I mean. This
That's
show,
why we're doing a
this is a
preview
show.
before Dynamite, guys, because Road Break loves you, wants your support. And all of us here put the best of work that we can. Mr. Jumpel, Britt Baker versus Riho. Women's championship match.
If there's any match that's gonna have fuckery, I'm going with this one. I'm gonna say because there was still the rivalry's hot between B Priestley and Britt Baker. That was especially in the AEW Dark match when they had the tag team match. Um, Penelope Ford, I think she took the pinfall, but or she tapped out, or whatever it was. I was
I
watching
think
it
she
last
tapped
night.
out.
Yeah. But so now her team won, had this momentum. I think now B's gonna screw her over in a way I could see, but my whole thing is I don't see Riho losing the title.
Hmm.
I think it's too early. Like, how would that be? She just won. They make a big deal about it. Blah blah blah. They're trying to get the Joshi Japanese women's style over. That wouldn't make any sense to give her the title and then just lose it.
Yeah, I
That
want to
that
agree
that
with
would,
you.
that would be WWE booking. If this was WWE, that's
Like
what they would do.
Charlotte with Bailey and
Yeah,
Hell in a Cell.
that's
The
what they
next
would
title
do. It
defense
would be
done.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, no, I think she wins. I mean, I hope it's a clean match, and I hope, I know it's going to be good, but I would like to see, a 15, 20-minute match, clean victory, no cheating going on. But I could definitely see it in this match. And if it does happen, I'd be fine with it because it would continue that storyline between the
Exactly.
two of them.
I will say maybe Nyla Rose comes back. So she will be playing a factor in the ending of the match, in the finish of the match. So maybe I will say my prediction is Nyla Rose will do something.
Yeah, but do you think she would cost the victory? Do you
Maybe
think
she will
Britt
help out.
wins?
Yeah, she will help out Riho because she wants a rematch with Riho to set up like another match for Full Gear. It will
I
be
mean, yeah, we could see. I don't know about. I mean, we could see. I
we'll
mean,
see.
personally, I don't see that happening, but we could see.
We
We'll
could
see what
see,
happens.
but like
That's the
like I
beauty
said,
of it.
my hopes.
They could debut someone new. You know what I mean? There's so much they
There's
could do.
something,
This
yeah.
is.
Like for
I
example, she
hope.
can debut. I know Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah.
She just signed. They didn't say with whom.
No, she's with NXT.
Oh, she did with NXT.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
they could do. They could do. There's so many choices that they could do.
But I mean, they could. Well, not just for the women's division, but for anybody. I hope there's some video package promoting somebody new, or we get just a surprise. Somebody comes out and cuts a promo because it's in Philly. I hope they do something big because that
They
crowd.
know that it being in Philly, they need to deliver a great show.
Yeah,
Like this is, probably like the toughest crowd that they ever
mm,
faced.
Philly's
In the
Philly.
short-lived like span that they had.
They're like the smartest of the marks in
Yeah,
Philly.
there's gonna be this
You
show is gonna
can't
be
pull anything by them.
a big thermometer for what's to come for them. So that takes us to the main event, and is the Painmaker Chris Jericho against Darby Allin for the AEW Championship. What are your thoughts? We
I de-
both know that like there's not gonna be a title change.
no. I definitely think there's going to be a lot going on in this match. I don't see it only being two guys and a ref in the ring. I could see the whole inner circle coming out. I
Yes,
could see Cody
the
and
Young Bucks
maybe not maybe the young. Oh yeah, because they were kind of having a thing going on with
with Ortiz and
yeah
Santana.
or yeah Santana and Ortiz. I was gonna say maybe MJF comes out with him. Blah
MJF will come
blah
out. Yeah, MJF can start like a feud maybe with Hager.
blah. I don't see the only feud I see in coming for MJF is with Cody at some point. But I mean, maybe you could do something. But I think if that's what you do, I think Hager's got to go over.
Hmm.
But I think that a lot of these guys are going to be coming out. It's going to be chaos.
It's
You
gonna
know,
be great. But
yeah,
I mean, our prediction. I think you and I are both agree that Jericho is not losing the title. He will
no,
not drop the
yeah.
title
There's
in
there's
Philadelphia.
no way.
There's just no way. There's just no way. I mean, if they do it,
If
it will be
Darby
a
Allin
massive
becomes the second AEW World
champion.
Champion, yeah, the whole no.
It will just
Like
be
like
yeah.
no
It will
no
be a
offense, no
major,
offense, kid, but no.
major shock, and I don't see them doing that yet. I mean, if they want to go and completely shock the world, they will do it, and maybe they can do like like a hot potato thing. And next week,
No,
Jericho wants his rematch and can get the title again. But I do
I
not
don't see them
see
booking it
foresee a
like that.
title
No.
switch when it comes to the AEW Championship yet. I see Jericho hitting the Judas effect. One, two, three.
Who's the hottest guy in the company? Jericho. Who
Jericho.
sells the most merchandise? Jericho.
Jericho. Bubbly.
Who
Le
command
Champion.
who commands the crowd better than anyone in the company?
Le
Jericho.
Champion. Le
So
Champion. So,
he's got
I
to
mean,
be
yeah, he
he's got to
still
be
needs
the champ
gold.
for a while.
Yeah, he still needs to be the Le Champion for a while. But we're gonna end with this, guys. We hope that there's gonna be a great show. Correct?
Oh, no,
Any other thoughts? Closing thoughts from John Paul Eck.
I think we pretty much covered it. Like I said, if you enjoy AEW, go watch AEW Dark. It's badass. We're gonna go watch some AEW later tonight. Few
Yes, we're
hours.
doing that. We will
Excited.
be. Please follow our Twitter page. Is Roadbreak. Jean Paul Egg will be tweeting throughout the whole show. What are his thoughts about the outcomes of all the matches? We will be tweaking. We'll be doing the same thing on Facebook. Follow us, Roadbreak,
Yep.
and
Follow on
videos on
Facebook,
YouTube.
YouTube.
We have the original Roadbreak because there was another group of guys that like they tried to steal the idea from us, but no. John Paul, Ryan the Goat, and this guy Juanzo, we are the original Roadbreak. So guys, I want to thank all of you that are watching. I want to thank even more to the people that don't even watch. I hope that you guys enjoy this review. Hope you enjoy the show tonight. And we'll be back with more Road Break because John Paul, Ryan the Goat, and myself, we have to review SmackDown Live. We'll be watching NXT also. And everything that is going to take place at Crown Jewel. It's going to be a big video for you guys. Crown Jewel, John Paul Egg, Ryan the Goat, Juanzo. Three of us talking about everything that is going to be taking place at Saudi Arabia, October 31st. So I want to thank you, John Paul. I want to thank all the Robbery family. Enjoy the show. We'll be back with you soon.